JBN, we keep you informed. The pain of losing a mom on Mother's Day. Mother's Day is usually a much anticipated celebratory day for Trinette Lily and her siblings. However, this year, they were not looking forward to Mother's Day because it marks the first anniversary of the brutal slaying of their mother, Annette Bernard. 39-year-old Bernard's life was snuffed out in a pre-dawn gun attack at a party in Yorktown, Clarendon. Lily, the eldest of Bernard's 3 children, recounted the dreaded day she was told of her mother's demise. When I first heard the news, I thought my cousin was pranking me. I was laughing and said, "Don't make serious jokes like that." Lily said that a phone call to her sister confirmed her worst fear. I felt really heartbroken and weak, especially because she didn't die of natural causes. Somebody snatched her life away. It's a feeling I wouldn't wish on anybody, not even my worst enemy. Lily, who has had her 10-year-old sister entrusted to her care following their mother's death, said, "Losing my mom on Mother's Day is something that I'll never forget. The day you're supposed to be celebrating your mom is the day she dies." Sharing the sentiment, Bernard's 21-year-old daughter Tasheen said, "Mother's Day is stressing for me because everybody will be with their mother and I won't have mine. If my mother was there, I wouldn't be stressing like this and going through all these hard times alone." Describing her mother as the life of the party, Lily said, "She was always fun to be around. Memories of my mom are all happy ones. I hardly remember seeing her down or sad. That's just how she was. She was happy and always smiling, running jokes and teasing us." Lily said that her mother was a community stalwart who was always willing to assist or support her neighbors. She was always giving a helping hand to others in her community, whether it be a party or a death in their family. She was just always there from the beginning to the end. She was a strong believer in prayer. Every day she would text me saying, "Trini, remember to read your Bible and pray." She was always motivating us to be better than her and to live life with no regrets. Even though it's a sad day for my siblings and me, it's still something I look forward to now because I am like a mother to my little sister, and I might become a mother in the future. Even though my mother isn't here physically, I'll still wish her a happy Mother's Day, she said. Alleged would-be robber killed. Swift action and 3 bullets are the reasons why Montego Bay businessman John Frank, not his real name, is now counting his luck after being trailed by unscrupulous persons on Monday, May 4, from the National Commercial Bank in Fairview to his business place along Salt Spring, where he ultimately managed to kill one of them. Details reaching JBNN indicate that Frank, who is also a justice of the peace, made a routine visit to the commercial bank in Fairview on Monday. Following his transactions, Frank exited the establishment and entered his car, and then headed for his business place along the Salt Spring Main Road. While en route, Frank observed that he was being trailed by a silver or grey Toyota Axia motor car. Becoming suspicious, Frank stopped at the Cool Oasis gas station in Mount Salem, St. James, where he apparently lost sight of the vehicle. After noticing that the car that was trailing him was nowhere in sight, Frank resumed the journey to his business place. Upon reaching his business place, Frank lingered in his vehicle for a while. Not long after, he realized that a silver Toyota Axia resembling the one that had earlier trailed him pulled up behind his parked car. Shortly after, according to reports, a man exited the Toyota Axia and approached Frank's car, where he engaged the businessman in conversation about his business place. It is further reported that at that point, Frank exited his vehicle, prompting the operator of the Toyota Axia motor car to drive away from the scene. Frank then observed, after the Toyota Axia fled the scene, another man walking away from his vehicle. His suspicions arose. Frank called out to the man, who turned around to reveal a black leather bag in his possession. Upon closer inspection, Frank observed the black leather bag to be his and realized that while distracted, it was taken from his vehicle. The man immediately approached Frank, who was hit to the ground. The businessman, being a licensed firearm holder, pulled his weapon and discharged a warning round. After observing that his attacker would not ease the assault, Frank discharged 2 additional rounds which hit the attacker to the torso. It is reported that he dropped Frank's bag and attempted to run away, but collapsed a short while after. He was rushed to the Cornell Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead. He was identified as Christopher Brown, 43, unemployed of Kent Avenue, Ironshore, St. James. Investigations continue. 63-year-old makes dramatic escape as fire guts home. 63-year-old Clayton Wright was asleep inside his one-bedroom home on West Avenue in central Kingston on Saturday, shortly after midnight, when he was jolted from his slumber as fire singed the top of his head. Wright, who walks with the aid of a cane, dashed from his bed as the building became engulfed in flames. Me asleep and me feel a heat in my head. When me jump up, a pure blue flame me see a come out of the wall, he said on Sunday, explaining that the fire had caused a section of the wall inside his one-bedroom concrete home to collapse. Speaking yesterday from a neighbor's house where he has been staying for the last 2 days, Wright recalled doing what was next to impossible in a bid to save his life. With a slight smile, he showed his upper back that still bears scars from the midnight ordeal. Me kick the door open and come out. When me go outside to catch water for come back, the whole place catch fire, he said. Me couldn't even go in. Me can't walk, but me did have to run and jump on one car. Police and fire authorities are conducting investigations. Wright said that the People's National Party PMP counsel for the Almontown Division, Charmaine Daniels, had offered some assistance, but he's still appealing for help to replace much of his belongings that were destroyed in the fire. Among the items destroyed were a refrigerator, television, microwave, and bed. Another building located on the premises at 17 West Avenue, but behind Wright's home, was also razed. Daniels confirmed yesterday that she visited him, replacing the walking stick that was burnt and giving him money to buy food. She promised to check in on him. I gave him a walking stick because him same don't have a wheelchair. The neighbors he's staying with now said they won't rush him, she said. Mom wounded while parting fighting sons dies. It should have been another typical Mother's Day celebration on Sunday for 62-year-old Charmaine Henry and her family. But in a bizarre series of events, Sunday was spent by the family mourning Henry's untimely death and giving statements to the police on the matter. Henry, of a Civil Heights, St. Anne address, reportedly died at the St. Anne's Regional Hospital on Friday after being readmitted following a previous visit to treat a wound she accidentally sustained at home. Police reports are that on Saturday, May 2, Henry was at home when her two sons got into a fight. She intervened and received a chop wound to the left side of her head. She was taken to the St. Anne's Regional Hospital where she was treated and released. The police say she was readmitted to the hospital on May 8 and died that same day. It is unclear if the death was as a direct result of the chop wound she sustained. A visit to her residence on Sunday found that no one was home. Neighbors were unwilling to comment on the incident. One resident in the community, however, lamented the tragedy. It's actually sad, based on everything. Today is Mother's Day, and to hear a son may have taken his own mother's life, even though his accident is miserable, she said. Efforts to get an update from the police were unsuccessful. Principal, who uses bike taxi to deliver lessons, gets help from Holness. Keron King, principal of Little Bay Primary and Infant School in Westmoreland, whose pick-up and drop-off initiative was featured in the Star last month, has received $100,000 from a foundation headed by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. King has been using bike taxis to drop off and pick up assignments to keep his students learning while they are at home. The objective is to ensure that the students can continue learning while schools are closed due to the novel coronavirus pandemic. Prime Minister Holness, through his Positive Jamaica Foundation, donated $100,000 to support the institution's initiative. King, in an interview with JIS News, said that the school is extremely appreciative of the support from Holness. What we want to do is to look at purchasing a printer that can help offset some of the costs, he said. Currently, the worksheets are produced and printed over 70 kilometers away at the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information Region 4 office in Montego Bay, St. James, and the school pays for the delivery. King said that close to 200 students benefit from the initiative. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember, subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.